Hey friend, Erin here with
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Not a Dude Perfect sweatshirt today.
Nope.
Who we repping today?
Mr. Beast.
These boys and their merch. All right, my friends, school cancellation is still in effect. Ours has been extended. I know some states are out for the rest of the year. We're doing these lessons this week and next week, and then we'll decide beyond that how we're going to handle all of this. So today's school cancellation kids cooking lesson is
Spaghetti.
spaghetti. We are going to talk about a couple of great things. We're going to do how to brown ground beef. Charlie already knows how to do that because
We did it last time on
Monday, which was taco soup.
taco soup.
It was so yummy, wasn't it? And so we are going to do ground beef again. So if you didn't watch taco soup, all that to say also is all of these videos are here on our Facebook page. They are also on our YouTube channel, and we are putting them all in one place on the blog. It's at the very top of the blog. So if you go to $5dinners.com/blog, you'll find the current videos. You'll also find the shopping lists and recipe lists there as well. We got the week 2 shopping list shared and posted this morning, so definitely go check that out. And yes, it's noon, and I'm still nursing my coffee because I kind of got up late. Okay, so what we're going to learn today with making spaghetti. Spaghetti seems really simple, but there are a couple things I want to make sure we touch on because this is meant to be educational and hands-on. So the first thing we're going to do is how to brown ground beef. We're also I'm going to share my favorite ground beef seasoning ratio with you. We'll get there in a little bit. Cooking pasta and how much salt to add to the water. My pot's right here. Also not overcooking the pasta. And I'm going to riff on marinara. And I'm doing this because, one, I think it can taste better. And you can get it to taste exactly how you want. And two, because if you run out of marinara sauce, but you have crushed tomatoes or tomato sauce in your pantry, you can make your own sort of semi-homemade spaghetti sauce. So we are going to talk about that as well in today's video. Yes, you could just dump a 26-ounce jar in with about a pound of ground beef or ground turkey or whatever. That's about right, but if you're stuck, there's another option. And I think it's a little bit more fun to play with kind of a semi-homemade version. So the first thing we need to do, you ready to dive in?
Yeah.
All right, we have a skillet and we have our stock pot here. So the first thing we need to do is start boiling the water. That takes a little bit, takes a little bit to get going. So we're gonna start the water boiling. You wanna show them the pot? Hold up the pot, okay? We're gonna add some, as hot as we can get it out of the tap, water to this pot before we add it here. That will also speed up become to kind of boiling time. So we're going to do that first. Michelle, I'm so glad you're here, and I love that your kiddos are cooking with us. It's exactly why we're doing this, so keep up the good work. Thank you for enabling them. So while we're waiting for that water to warm up, I forgot I need to give you my 2 disclaimers. Parents, you need to be supervising your kiddos while they're cooking, but not doing the work for them. If they need help or if you need to guide their hand, like I had to yesterday with Austin in his little hand, cutting those, he's 7, cutting those pepperonis. You need to guide and supervise, but you need to stay out of the way. Okay, hard to do. I know, you need to let them create the mess. You need to let them make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. Kiddos, if mom, dad, grandma, aunt, uncle, whoever tries to step in and do it for you and take over the cooking, please politely and respectfully say, I got this. I'm trying to learn how to do this. Leave me alone. Okay, so those are my 2 disclaimers. Charlie's working on filling up the pot of water over here. This is, we have this amazing time to get together right now and learn and cook in the kitchen. This is, I'm doing this because, one, it's fun for us. My friend says that they like your Mr. Beast shirt. Yeah, I think this was merch from the summer, right? Okay, turn this on to boil, and then we're gonna flip the camera over, and you can see what's happening on the stovetop.
Hot?
Leave it on, this stove has power boil, so that'll make it boil faster. Okay, one thing we need to do, let me flip the camera view real quick. We need to add a little bit of salt to this water. So you want to grab I'm going to add a tablespoon. This is a pound of pasta. You can kind of see the pot over there. Oy. How do I do this without this falling down? You can kind of see the pot. You guys, this is like, we have this standing up on a cookie sheet. Oh, Tyler says hi. Tyler's watching from upstairs. Can you get a tablespoon from over in the drawer? And then we're going to add a tablespoon of salt. I'm sorry, this is shaky. I'll move it back in a second. And then we're going to get started on the ground beef and the sauce. We're going to talk about a homemade sauce. You know what I forgot to mention? We're also going to talk about sneaking veggies into this sauce. Can you find the tablespoon? It might be over here, actually. Let's see. Oh, it's right here. That's why you can't find it. We want to get that tablespoon, just add it right into the middle. And then just give the water a little swirl. Just a quick swirl. One swirl, that's good. All right, now let's cover it so it'll start to boil a little faster. So this is gonna boil faster because we have
Power boil.
Power boil, we have hot water in there, and we also added the salt and the cover. So all of that's gonna help the boiling come faster. Hello, Elizabeth and Elizabeth's kiddo. Glad that you're here. Yay from Minnesota. We love Minnesota, don't we?
Yes,
All right, let's flip this back to how I had it. There. All right, you guys can see all that okay? Okay, the next thing we're gonna do now that the water's boiling, we're gonna be listening for the water. Once we hear it boiling, then we can add the pasta. Next, while we're waiting for that, we're gonna start the ground beef. So go ahead and slice it open and squeeze it out like you did before. Carefully and away. Yep. This is soft. You don't want that knife to go all the way through that ground beef. Hey, Eli, yum. Are you excited for spaghetti? One of the reasons I picked spaghetti is because I know it's a favorite for a lot of people, and I want you to be able to make this for your family. So that is super awesome that you're watching. I hope you learned some great new things. Okay, next you need to wash your hands. Raw meat, guys. Parents, kiddos are handling raw meat. You need to make sure that you teach them the proper food safety and hygiene here. So we are going to wash hands. You could also probably throw that knife since it's now... you could throw that knife in the sink too. Okay, so what do we do? I'm asking you, what do we do?
We like spread it out.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. Break it up. This is our chop stir. You can get it on Amazon. We have not turned the heat on. I'm going to break it up first. Hey, Micah. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Glad you're watching. We're making spaghetti and we're going to do shredded chicken tacos tomorrow, and we have a whole lot more yumminess to come next week too. Okay, I think that's probably broken enough and well enough. So now we need to
Turn the oven on.
the stovetop,
Still on.
the skillet, the flame under the skillet, right? All right, this is a chop stir. I know people asked about it the other day. You can get them on Amazon. Just search chop stir. You'll find them there. They're real handy. I also use them I use it to break up meat when I'm making meatloaf. You add the other ingredients and then you can easily mix up the meatloaf. Okay, moving on. Next, we need to do our seasoning ratio, if you will. And for I pretty much do this for 99% of the ground beef recipes that we do. This is for every one, here's math, guys. Here's a little math lesson, everybody. You can check off your math lesson for the day with this one. For every 1 pound of ground beef, we just added 1 pound here, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon. You wanna hold that up and show them so that they can see? Turn it so that, like, hold it up under here like this. Okay, this is minced dried onions. Okay, so you wanna add 1 tablespoon. You could also chop an onion. We learned how to do that on Monday. But you can also add these because they're just fast and easy. And they give a nice, great oniony flavor without being too many onions. I know some kids like to pick out onions, but they won't even know they're in here. So Micah and Eli, you guys could add onions and don't tell your brothers and sisters that there's onions in there. Okay, so 1 tablespoon of the minced dried onions and 1 teaspoon. Let me find a teaspoon.
Oh, teaspoons in the wash.
Oh, we have another one, don't you worry. Sorry. So we're adding, for every 1 pound of ground beef, 1 tablespoon of minced dried onions and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, so that's kind of my seasoning ratio. So if you were making more ground beef, if you were doing 2 pounds, math lesson here, you would add in 2 tablespoons of minced dried onions, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. What about 1.5 pounds of ground beef? Charlie, how many tablespoons?
1.5.
1.5 tablespoons of minced dried onion and how many teaspoons?
1.5.
1.5 teaspoons. All right, that's probably pretty broken up. Let's turn the heat down a little bit. Why don't we do that? It's popping a little bit.
No, it's just got the size.
Oh, okay. You can turn the heat down a little bit. All right, so we're gonna let that brown, and then the only meat that I could find was kind of a fattier meat, and I prefer to drain that off. So I will drain a little bit of this off. If I use a leaner ground beef, I don't typically drain that off, but this one is definitely gonna be needed to be drained a little bit. That's a personal preference thing. You can drain or not to your liking. Alright, so we check the water for the pasta while that's going. Careful, it might be hot. Here, just use this. You check. Oh, almost. It's like in a slow boil. It's almost ready.
It smells so good.
It does. That onion and the garlic makes for like a really fantastic smell. Should we eat this spaghetti for lunch or should we wait and have it for dinner?
Lunch.
Lunch? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that this sounds really great right now too. So if you're watching the replay of this later on making this for dinner, we might have had this for lunch. We'll see. All right, we have the water boiling. We have the ground beef going. Let's talk a little bit about the sauce. So I have on my cutting board here just a marinara sauce from the store. I actually only got, I think, 2 or 3 sort of in my stock up purchases. And we're probably going to run out. I have a lot of pasta, and we have some different meats, but either we run out, or if you want to make, I mentioned earlier, a semi-homemade version of spaghetti sauce, this is how you would do it. Okay? We're going to do the carrots to the sauce in a little bit, so let's put those extra together. So what I would recommend doing for the sort of homemade, semi-homemade sauce, you could absolutely, take tomatoes and put them in a food processor and crush them and puree them yourself. But this is another option. If you have crushed tomatoes or tomato sauce, you can make your own sauce. I prefer to do crushed tomatoes because they have a little bit different flavor and they have a little bit more texture, and I just like that little added texture in a marinara sauce. So this is what you would add. This is a 28-ounce can, so it's about the same amount as the 26-ounce jar. What you're going to add to it is and you do this to taste, okay? So this is an Italian seasoning blend. If you don't have an Italian seasoning blend, you could do a combination of these spices, or herbs, which you probably have in your pantry. This is thyme, basil, and oregano, maybe a little rosemary if you have it. It's just an Italian seasoning blend that you can add here. I would start with 1 or 2 tablespoons per can, and you can add however, this is to taste. There are 2 other ingredients that I would add with the Italian seasoning, and that is a splash of olive oil, just to give it that little olivey flavor, and a splash of honey or sugar. And doing that just brings it all together. I think it adds that touch of sweetness. It's the secret ingredient that a lot of Italian grandmas sneak in to their sauces. So that's a quick rundown of semi-homemade version. So you want to drain this, buddy? I think we're done with this, and the water is boiling. Okay, I have the strainer over there over a bowl. Go ahead and, here, you could just do it right here. And then we're gonna have to do the spaghetti because this pasta is ready to go. Mason likes tomatoes. Erin, that's so funny. Her little daughter explained live streaming and broke her brain. I think all of our brains are broken right now. Hers just happened to break about live streaming. Ours are broken for other reasons. Okay, you just, well, so why don't you use a towel around, this handle is kind of hot because we have the water boiling right next to it. So be very careful. Again, parents, this is the reason to be supervising. Okay, can you get that? I don't have a grease jar like I explained the other day because we're in a rental and everything kind of got pushed out. All right, now just dump that. Just give it a little bit of a little shake. We want to make sure to keep our handle.
Got grease on my toe.
Oh, ouch! See, be close by, parents. All right, so which should we do, Charlie? Should we use the marinara sauce or should we do the crushed tomatoes?
Crushed tomatoes, or both.
Okay, let's do this first. Let's not do both. That would be too much sauce. Let's do the pasta first. So my question for you guys watching, do you break the pasta or do you not break the pasta? That's my question for you, okay? So let me shift the camera. It'd be easier to leave the pot boiling. All right, let me shift this camera a little bit, guys. Bear with me. I'm sorry. This is our, doing the best we can with the space we've got, production situation. Okay, so that water is really going. Oh, boy. Okay, bear with me. Hang on. Woo, you can see my mouse is way over there. All right, should we break it or should we leave it whole? Okay, advantage to breaking it is it's easier to serve little mouths later than trying to cut it up, right? I've kind of been a pasta breaker for the last couple years just because it's easier with feeding little mouths, if you will. The advantage to not break, it's like a 50-50 here. The advantage to not breaking it is then you get those really fantastic spaghetti swirls where you need that spoon in the plate, on the plate or in your bowl to twist the the pasta around, and you use the spoon to hold it together. So I'm gonna let Charlie make this decision. Wait, not break. Okay, if we're not gonna break it, what I would recommend doing is fanning the pasta. Let me just show breaking real quick. So if we're gonna break the pasta for little mouths, you would want to break it and then kind of let it swirl in. Okay, like that. Now, if you're not gonna break it, then you want to take it in a couple of batches, maybe 3 to 4 batches per, this is a pound, and kind of fan it in there so it doesn't clump, okay? And this is a wide enough pot that it'll fit across. And now we're not clumping, okay? Lindsay, yeah, right, girl? It doesn't matter. I mean, there's not a right or wrong way. I don't know, maybe there's a purist out there that would say I'm wrong, but when you've got little mouths, it's just a lot easier to break it before you cook it. Okay, we're fanning so we don't get clumps. We do not want clumps. Look at this professional. Look, that looks so cool. Look in the video. All right, and then what we need to do, it looks like we need to push it down a little bit. So you can either use a pasta stir or I'm
just using this because I found it right here.
Well, look, this is the pasta server. You could use this guy too. He's got little claws, so it's easier to kind of get in there and push it around a little bit. So once this softens, we can give it a swirl and then we'll cover it, okay? So let the pasta soften it takes about a minute or two just so it kind of fits a little better into your pan. And then we'll give it a swirl, and I will half cover this. And then if this is actually really full, so this is probably going to boil over, so I may not cover it. Sometimes I'll cover it to get the heat to come back up real quick. But maybe we won't cover it since it's so full, because it'll make a mess on the stovetop. And let me tell you, cleaning the stovetop, cleaning pasta juice off the stovetop is no one's favorite job. Okay, right? Not at all. All right, so why don't you see if you can get the pasta, since it's in this fan situation, see if you can get it to like swirl a little bit and kind of, that's pretty good. All right, let's let that sit now, and we're not gonna cover it. If you want it to, oh, that looks really good. Okay. So we wanna cook it for about 8 to 10 minutes. If you wanna set a timer, you can. Why don't we just do that, because we're gonna be doing the video and be a little distracted. So let's move back over to our sauce.
So we're making it, right?
Is that what you want to do? Your decision.
I want to make it.
Okay, so Charlie says he wants to make the, hang on guys, bear with me. Thank you. He wants to do the non-jar version. So get to it, sir. Open that can. That'll be first. I'll put this away. Can you teach everybody the P&P trick from Monday?
Okay. So, you push down and then you pull.
Pinch and pull. Yeah, push, pull, pinch.
Yeah.
And then you
don't cut yourself.
Yep, then you won't cut yourself. So kiddos and parents, you want to be very careful when opening cans, because that lid is real sharp. And so once you get the lid broken off with your can opener, then you want to press and pinch. Okay, so now the thing we need to do is pour these crushed tomatoes. You could also use tomato sauce. Pour that in with the meat, and let's stir it around and turn the heat down onto low. So that's going to splatter.
All of it?
Okay. It's a good thing none of us are wearing white.
All of it?
Yep, all of it. Okay. Yeah, all in there. Here is a trick for you. Let's pretend that this was a jar of marinara sauce. You see that amount that's left in there? What you can do is add about 2 tablespoons of water to this marinara sauce jar. Let's pretend this is marinara sauce jar. You add a touch of water. Watch. Again, pretend it's a glass jar, the one we just had out. Pour this in here, and now you've gotten almost all of it out of there. Pro tip. All right, let's stir and start to simmer this.
What do I use?
How about this one? Just give it a little stir. That extra tablespoon of water, as it simmers, will just burn right off, and it's like it was never there. Okay, can you turn the heat on to low? So when you're doing a homemade sauce like this, you want to get all that flavor of all the spices, and because it hasn't already been made and put in the jar like the jar of marinara sauce, it's going to need a little bit of time to simmer. The longer that it simmers, the longer the flavors have to what they say, mix and mingle and marry. And that's what we want. We want that really fantastic flavor to be in this semi-homemade marinara sauce. So let's add a touch of olive oil and honey. And then we will add the Italian, and when touch, I mean drop. Just a touch. Oh, okay, that's plenty. That's good. I just did it like that. So around a teaspoon. How about that? Let me give you an amount. Same story, just give a little squirt of the honey. That's good. It comes out fast. Swirl that all together. Awesome job, buddy.
Too much.
It's not too much. It's going to be delicious. I don't think you can have too much, well, maybe you could have too much. If you put the whole jar of honey in there, that would be too much.
Olive oil.
No, it's fine. It's perfect. All right, the last thing we need to do is the seasoning. So let's start with 2 tablespoons of the seasoning blend. We'll do the carrots last. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. Let's do 2 tablespoons of this guy. If you don't have an Italian seasoning blend, you could do 2 teaspoons of basil, 2 teaspoons of thyme, 2 teaspoons of oregano. So that's a pretty basic Italian seasoning combination. Ooh, Amanda, yeah, thank you. That's perfect. 2, let's give that a swirl. All right, and then the last thing we need to do is these carrots, huh? Let's see, our timer for the
3 minutes.
3 minutes left on this pasta. Should we throw pasta at the wall?
What?
That's one of the ways you can tell maybe that's going to create too many messes in everybody's kitchen.
No, let's do that.
Let's do that. I thought you might think that was fun. Should we throw pasta at the wall to see if it's done? You guys hit me up with some likes and some hearts or some ha-has, and we'll start throwing pasta. There's only one rule: you can't throw pasta at people.
Dang.
Too bad, son. You want to throw pasta at me? Oh, you guys are funny. All right, we're gonna start throwing pasta. What did you do? That's okay. We'll clean it up later. All right, so let's let this start to simmer while we work on the carrots. And I wanted to throw this in here because it's just an easy way to add some extra veggies into your sauce. I picked carrots because they're easy to incorporate. They soften really easily. See, everybody wants us to throw. Everybody wants us to throw spaghetti. We will. It's not quite time yet, but we will. I'm trying to think of which wall we should go this week. And then we'll have to clean the walls because this is a rental house. So we have to be very careful. I don't know that it would stick to the cabinets. We could try. We will clean. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, buddy. So we're going to let this simmer while we work on these carrots over here. So why don't you peel the carrots? First is peel.
Where?
Just right there in a pile is fine. First, we're going to peel. Then we'll cut off the stem. And then we'll grate them. All right, this pasta is looking pretty good. We have 45 seconds left on our timer. All right. So these carrots, when we grate them, it will only take about 5 or 10 minutes for them to soften in the tomato sauce. And you could also add these carrots, even if you weren't making the homemade sauce like we did here, you could just add the carrots in with whatever your favorite marinara sauce is. So Charlie, what he's doing, he is doing a great job. He is putting the carrot down on the cutting board. You've peeled a lot of things, I think.
Yeah.
You want to tell him the most important thing about peeling?
Putting it down. Oh, away.
Yeah, the most important thing about peeling is to, brace the carrot, if you will. So he puts the carrot, the end of the carrot, down, and then he pushes away with the peeler so that he doesn't accidentally cut his finger or his fingernail, because that would not be good. All right, those are finished. All right, let's do the pasta since it's beeping. This is why we set timers. All right, let's do the pasta. Why don't you?
Do I get to throw it at the wall?
Let me just. No, why don't you put a tiny scoop, just like put it right here on the counter. We wouldn't normally do this, but for the sake of the video, we're going to do it like that. No, like, get a couple.
Oh.
Get a couple.
Too much. That?
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so this is the cooked spaghetti. Let me flip camera and we'll start throwing it. You don't necessarily have to throw it. Does it feel sticky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels sticky, so you don't have to throw it. You want to hold it. Look, do that again. What a goof. So it feels sticky, like it just, you can see it sticking to itself here. Pretty good. So, it sticks to the fridge. Our dirty fridge. Maybe we should use, I didn't think it would stick to the cabinet. I think it needs to stick, let's see if it'll stick right here. I might have gotten all the stickiness off. Oh, can you see it right here? Oh, okay. Now we're just wasting it. The pasta is done, so let's turn it off and let's drain it, please, son. The oven mitts are dirty over there, so you're gonna have to do this. Leave that over there.
Oh.
We have the colander in the sink. That's still stuck on the fridge. I'm gonna have to go clean the wall now. Sorry, Jennifer. This is our friend's house that we're renting. Okay. Moms, dads, if your kiddos are not old enough or able enough to do this part for them because that water can burn you. But Charlie's done this a couple times, so he's good. It is hot. All right. Now, if you, ooh, look at me making a big old sound. All right. If you are not going to serve this pasta right now, okay, what you can do is add, let me do it over here. This is a hot pan. That olive oil is super warm. Okay, let me switch back camera mode. Sorry guys, we got a little distracted with our spaghetti throwing.
Do I do this?
Not yet. Okay, that's a hot pan. You just drop it. It's gonna, put it back in the sink. Well, it'll get hot. Okay, if you are not gonna serve this like in the next 10, 15 minutes, like if you're ready to eat right now, you could serve this, you could serve that together and have your meal. But if you're not going to do that, what you're gonna wanna do is add a splash again of olive oil here, back into your hot pan. You can watch it spread quickly, okay? Keep those there. Our oven mitts are dirty in the sink. So that's why we're using towels. These are our oven. So now that this is kind of, it heats up real quick because this pan's already hot. Has a little bit of the cooking liquid in there. Let's pour that back in, Charlie, and give it a good toss. Can you pour the, actually turn this up because it's not bubbling yet. Pour that pasta back in there and then give it a toss.
Toss?
With, just leave it there so they can see. Toss that together and kind of mix that olive oil. Well, that's one way to do it, but you're going to need this guy.
Oh, I thought you did.
Okay, remember this pan is still super hot. Just, you want to toss that together so the olive oil will coat the pasta so that it, you know, is easier to serve in 20 minutes if you're not going to eat it right now. You don't have to add the olive oil. That's just if you're not going to eat it immediately. I also will do that like if I'm taking this to someone, and I'm gonna, you know, mix it together into a like a baking dish of some kind, then I'll toss it with olive oil like this because they might reheat it or something like that. Okay, so we got to finish the sauce and the carrots. So let's move this back and you can grate the carrots and then we'll be done.
Great.
So there's two ways you could grate here. This is our grater. It's just, this is what we've always used. I've never had a box one for whatever reason. Nope. So you can use a box one. Parents, closely supervise. These are very sharp. You could easily slice a fingernail or the tip of your finger. You want to be real careful here. So this is very similar to the peeling, Charlie. Actually, let's cut the ends of those off. It'll just be a little bit easier since they're so skinny. Nope, this knife. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, if your kiddo is strong enough and has the dexterity, you could just grate over the top like this. Okay, this is what I would do. But for a younger kiddo, you're going to want to probably either set your box up on their cutting board, or in Charlie's case, hold this and kind of brace the grater. And you're going to want to, again, just like the peeler, grate away. Okay. Some people say to move the grater. Some people say to move the food. Whichever is more comfortable for you, go ahead and do that. I think for the purposes of today, I'm going to have Charlie brace this and move the food. Okay? Does that feel comfortable? And then as you get closer, you need to remember how we curl our fingertips so that you don't accidentally cut as the carrot gets smaller and smaller. Again, parents, help your kiddos if this is, you can twist the carrot around to get it, as the shape changes, as you're grating it, you can kind of twist it, turn it. And then we're going to add this to the sauce and let it, I'm going to turn this up actually so it actually starts simmering. This is a real slow simmer over here. Okay. So,
Can I do the other one?
Yeah, do the other one. Yeah, especially if you've got like a micro grater, one of those micro blades, you definitely want to move the food. I think for the sake of Charlie today, I'm having him do it this way. The spaghetti is still stuck on the fridge. This microplane grater, this is the one where you would want to move the food. But this is just funky, and so I'm having to do it that way. All right, we're almost done. I hope you learned something new. One, making a homemade spaghetti sauce right here. Two, how to grate carrots and sneak them into your sauce. These are just going to melt right in. The longer you simmer this, the softer and more melty these carrots will get, and you won't even know they're in there. Perfection. I feel like we should have like a little taste. Do you want to get a plate out? And we could do a little taste. Let's do that. We need to taste this sauce since it's homemade and make sure that we did it right. But we need to also make sure that we don't burn our tongues because this sauce is still very hot. So let me get you a little tiny pile. Here, put it over here. Tiny pile of noodles. Why don't you just set it on the, and then a tiny, tiny pile. Perfect. Let that cool for a second. Do you want to get Parmesan cheese? Okay, grab some. It should be in the fridge. All right, and then kids, don't forget, you've got to clean up the mess. Take a minute to rinse everything off so you don't have to scrub everything later when it comes time to do the dishes. We actually have the dishwasher going now because we did a little baking this morning. And we have, so we'll rinse this all off really well so that we don't have too much to do later. And I'm also going to take the spaghetti off the wall and off the fridge. That's when we know it's done, when it's sticky and sticks to the wall. Did you find the Parmesan?
No.
Let me get it. Let me find it. Will you turn that sauce down a little bit? It is probably in the pantry. Yeah, because I just got new ones. Where did it go? I don't see it. Here, you can use the shredded kind. Why can't we find it?
It's fine. I don't need it.
Okay. We can't find the Parmesan cheese. Oh my. Okay, so giving it a little taste. Let me flip the camera around. All right, guys, this is our Fourth cooking lesson, we've done taco soup, grilled cheese, English muffin and bagel pizzas, and today's spaghetti. Tomorrow, with my oldest son, Ryan, who you haven't met here yet, is going to be shredded chicken tacos. So we'll talk about some different ways and options for shredded chicken tacos. Christina, you can tell him now that I said so. You can say, Aaron said, you got to clean up. At the very least, rinse things off so it doesn't get caked on until you do the dishes later, right? What do you think about the sauce?
It's really good.
It's really good?
Now I want more.
He's going to do more. Should we get plates out for everybody so we can have lunch? Or should we save this for dinner? Looks like he's having this for lunch. What do you think?
Lunch.
All right, lunch. We are having spaghetti for lunch. You guys, thank you for joining us on today's school cancellation kids cooking lessons. We are continuing these tomorrow and into next week. I did post the shopping list and the recipe list for week 2 on our blog, which is linked here on this video, as well as here earlier on the page, and I'll probably share it once again for you early on Saturday. So that's that for today. Thank you for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. And real quick, Victoria, yes, I'll talk about how to do it. We won't demo the Instant Pot version, but I'll talk to you about how to do that. So it is Thursday. I woke up this morning, I didn't know what day it was. That's why I posted that reminder to you earlier. It's Thursday and you should take a shower. All right, guys. Happy Thursday, and we will see you again tomorrow at noon Central Time. Tomorrow we're doing shredded chicken tacos. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you then.